aloe vera reduces blood sugar, cleans out the colon, and we believe that cleans out the colon is good as effect as its effect on the liver and the pancreas. Scientists in the U.S. claim a new study shows that bitter melon juice has a strong affinity for pancreatic cancer with no side effects. And pancreatic cancer is one of the hardest cancers to treat. Lung cancer, pancreatic cancer, one of the hard ones. And there's the chia seeds we talked about. And this is some of the research done. 40 grams of chia seeds will significantly decrease the blood pressure in diabetic patients. So you got high blood pressure plus diabetes, chia seeds is a big one. Fenugreek's another one from the Mediterranean that they use, and gastrointestinal problems, improves the appetite of diabetics, also helps breastfeeding mothers, and all this other stuff. Crazy about saffron, unbelievable stuff, big medicines, more precious than gold. And you know the number one fact about it.
Welcome to this special recording from a live Chia seminar here in London with the late, great Dr. Robin Murphy, one of the most influential and inspiring homeopathic teachers of his generation. In this session, Robin explores the homeopathic understanding of diabetes, looking beyond the diagnosis to consider the whole person, the underlying cause of illness, and the importance of vitality. He shares memorable clinical cases, discusses key homeopathic remedies, and examines the role of diet, nutrition, and natural therapeutics alongside homeopathic treatment. As always, Robin brings the subject to life through practical prescribing insights and compelling stories and more than 4 decades of clinical experience. So let's travel back to London and join the great Dr. Robin Murphy.
Here's a little list of herbs, and I'm not going to go through that because I got some slides on each of these herbs coming up. But you see aloe vera is one of the biggest ones. If you know anybody with diabetes, have them drink aloe vera juice, okay? We'll talk about that. And this is interesting. This is in my house. So this aloe vera plant I've had since 1984. And there's another one over here and all that. And it's produced at least 400 or 500 babies. And one day I decided to start giving it some homeopathic remedies. And I saw it blossom for the first time in 25 years. It was amazing.
Yeah, but what's it?
I gave it a tonic remedy called fulvic acid. You know fulvic acid? Fulvic, not folic. Fulvic. Yeah, unbelievable. I made a tincture about it. One day we had to give a talk about it. It's the ultimate electrolyte and helps plants. But then it bloomed, and now I can make it bloom whenever I want by giving it remedies or tonics. So unbelievable. I put some charcoal in there too, but that's amazing. Okay, so aloe vera reduces blood sugar, cleans out the colon, and we believe that cleans out the colon is good as its effect on the liver and the pancreas. But we used to prescribe for many years 2 ounces of the juice 3 or 4 times a day. You put it in other juice or water, and it tastes like what? Anyone know? Tequila. Yeah, that's cactusy taste. Okay, so good for all kinds of things. Good for candida also. People can go on the juice on heavy and all that. Okay, there's a couple types of aloe vera. Tomorrow I'll try to get to the other one. The other one's good for cancer. Okay, and that's called a torch aloe. We'll get to that. Okay, it also helps the immune system and all kinds of things. So this is a list of some of its benefits. Stabilizes the blood sugar, lowers cholesterol. It helps oxygenate. We have in the clinic this little thing, you take a drop of blood and put it on a slide, and it shows if your blood cells are sticky or not. Okay, then we can give a treatment, and you take the same person's blood a few days later, and all the blood is not sticky. So they still haven't explained to me exactly what that means, but it's supposed to be good that they're not sticky together, because you get clots and stuff like that. Okay, very good for inflammation. You can get the aloe vera gel and put herbs in it. So you can take a little cayenne and mix it with aloe vera gel, and you rub it into arthritic joints. And it's in the drugstores now. They call it capsaicin. And capsaicin is the extract from cayenne, and its number one use is for arthritis pain. And you can make your own capsaicin by taking cayenne and putting it in aloe vera gel and rubbing it on your joints. It's that simple. And all that research and millions of dollars to extract it, and all you do is put it with coconut oil and rub it on. Okay. So also helps prevent kidney stones, inflammation, all kinds of bowel problems. So the point of this, whenever you have diabetes plus one of these other things, just like homeopathy, we're trying to match the best tonic with that person. Is it diabetes with obesity and arthritis? Or is it diabetes with irritable bowel syndrome and certain cravings? And you match that best tonic with that, okay? And as everybody knows, that it heals burns and cuts. It's a miracle. And even radiation burns and things. Okay. So all kinds of first aid products. So it's a big tonic. So I always have, at any one time, I probably have 20, 30, up to 50 aloe vera plants. All I do is just keep giving them away. And this one plant I got at Walmart in 1984 for $3.95. And it's still, I call it the mother. And it's about this big now in a pot. And it's traveled all over with me. New Mexico, Colorado, Virginia, carried it, and then she keeps having me. Now the babies are almost big as the mother. And I got these earth boxes, these little boxes you can grow food in. If you have an apartment or all that, you can get these earth boxes. It has a little tube, you fill it with water, and the whole bottom tray is full of water, and the plant just takes what water it needs. Okay, no pests, nothing. And they just grow and grow. Okay, I just take a Qigong class and give them away. In India, they say it's lucky to have aloe vera in your house. Brings good energy in your house, prosperity. Jerusalem artichoke, I just planted a bunch of this. This is another invasive weed, but it's a Native American staple food. Okay, and you start growing them, they start spreading all around. So I found a certain spot where it could grow as much as it's want. And all you have to remember about that is you can cook it any way you cook a potato, okay? And this is the rubric out of the repertory here for the foods. And we see it's also good for anemia, blood sugar problems, diabetes, and that, malnutrition, constipation, hair loss, and fatigue. So Native Americans would store this. They would dig up these roots and store them and eat them all during the winter. You can roast them, you can make mashed ones, you can make patties out of it, and I have recipes on how to use that. So my point is, you have a diabetic patient, get them to do chia seeds, cinnamon, aloe vera, along with whatever homeopathic treatment, and you'll see much better results, okay? Because you're stabilizing the case, okay, with the tonics. And then the remedies are the icing on the cake, okay? And there's the chia seeds we talked about. And this is some of the research done. 40 grams of chia seeds will significantly decrease the blood pressure in patients, in diabetic patients. So you got high blood pressure plus diabetes, chia seeds is a big one. And you can buy big bags of this and have it and on your clinic or practice and put it in your own bag or bottle and sell it, okay, for the same or less price than what's in the health food stores. Okay. I just say, well, I'm gonna go get it where they get it from. It's simple. Every family should have a wholesale account. Every family should be a wholesale. Any family can order from the same place as all the stores order from. Okay. So think wholesale all the time for things. Okay, so Canadian Medical Association did it, lowering blood pressure, the key to decreasing the symptoms of diabetes. So they believe high blood pressure is going to cause retinal hemorrhage, causing bruises, causing neuropathy. High blood pressure constricts the vessels. You get your fingers and toes constricted, then you start getting numbness, tingling, and goes on, you start getting gangrene. Okay, so I think that incorporating a diet, unbelievable stuff you can do with it. You can just take it, throw them in your mouth, and take some water and swallow it. But the best thing we do is make a gel. So the chia seeds, like the charcoal, the chia seeds can absorb 8 times its weight, 8 times its weight in water. So unbelievable recipes. The Native Americans would take chia seeds, you have some water in there, so you put whatever you want in the water. They would put cinnamon in the water or cayenne pepper in the water, and then throw the chia seeds in the water. And the chia seeds would take it all up and make this gel. You can actually hold it in your hand, look at it, and that, right? And they would take the gel. So you make all these medicinal things. The Aztecs, when someone had an eye injury, they would make the gel and they put the gel over the eye and they pull the gel out and they pulled out pieces of wood or glass out with it. And there's even stories in Mexico in the Revolution, they would put the Chia gel in gunshot wounds and stuff. So many uses for it. We get 20, 50-pound bags of this stuff. And my mother's been taking it. She's 83. She loves it. And go and get my chia seeds. Go and get my chia seeds. And soup, you can cook with it. You just throw it in any food you want. You can throw it in stir fries. It's very, was that your question?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
For chicken instead of breadcrumbs.
Yep. All kinds of things. A glaze, but the main thing is stamina. It gives you stamina. So diabetes with fatigue, high blood pressure, and constipation because of the fibers and all this stuff. And plus brain fog things, it helps the brain. And here's the cinnamon, and it lowers cholesterol and all this stuff, but it helps blood sugar levels. It improves the insulin response, okay? And one research says it conversion of blood sugar to energy by as much as 200%. It also reduces the formation of free radicals and antioxidant. One of the biggest remedies in ancient medicine was cinnamon. And I give a whole slideshow on just cinnamon and honey alone. It will cure so many things. Coughs, colds, sore throats. One of their best remedies for insomnia. I have 2 nieces, they swear by it. They take a teaspoon of cinnamon and they mix honey with it, and you can add some warm water and drink it before bed. And they say they sleep like a baby. Many uses for immune problems and all that. But there's been a lot of research on it for diabetics. And I have in the book cinnamon water and some of the recipes, how they use it. And this is how it looks. It actually looks different. The regular cinnamon is dark brown and has much stronger taste. This is lighter and all that. So I compare the two. And one, if you have a cinnamon, how they roll the bark, it was really hollow. That's the Ceylon. But it's light brown and a very sweet, light fragrance. Whereas the other one's very coarse and strong. Okay. So this is cinnamon water, helps with blood sugar. 1 quart of cinnamon water daily. So that's like a liter. Add 2 tablespoons of cinnamon to a liter of boiling water and simmer a mixture. And I usually had people add some honey to it to sweeten it and strain the mixture. And then they drink it throughout the day. You don't have to drink it all at once. It might be a little much. You're going to get them all every time. So you're guaranteed that. Because if I was sitting there, I would want them. So I don't know. With what? Oh, yes. I don't know. The research was done without the honey, but I never restricted honey for diabetes myself. Okay. Sugar is not just sugar if it's in that, otherwise 90% of everything we eat has some sugar in it. So don't get this obsessive idea that sugar is evil. It's the extracted pure sugar. You know how they make it white? They put it through charcoal to make it white. So I'm in Hawaii, we're driving down the street and someone starts yelling in the back of the car, roll up your window, roll. I said, what, roll up your window. And we turn the corner, a big old cloud of smoke is coming at us. In paradise. I said, what is that? They burn the sugarcane fields. It's easier to burn the whole field with the PCV pipes and everything. It's just like a forest fire. And they announce when they're going to burn. And then it's all this burnt sugarcane they go take in, and they clean off all the burnt part and all that with activated charcoal to get this pure white sugar, okay? So fenugreek's another one from the Mediterraneans that they use. And gastrointestinal problems, improves the appetite of diabetics, also helps breastfeeding mothers and all this other stuff. But basically, I think I have it in the next slide. They make a tea from it. Right. So fenugreek seeds, you soak 90 to 100 seeds. Don't count them. Just get a bunch of them. And 8 ounces of water, and you leave it overnight. You mash them in the morning and squeeze it, and you drink that for 2 to 4 months. Okay, rich in fiber and all this stuff, similar to chia seeds. But these you just don't eat so much straight. You make a drink from it. Okay. Now this is another one. This is one of the only ones I didn't get in the book. but this is a really popular one, Gymna sylvestra. And I don't know if that's been potentized. I don't think it's been potentized. But it's a herb. It's native to tropical forests in India and Sri Lanka. And people would chew it, the leaves, okay? And it would suppress their craving for sweets. And also peppermint oil. Peppermint oil is unbelievable. If you have these little peppermint mint without the gelatin and all these Altoid stuff, it's horrible stuff. Get it without the gelatin in it, which is made from horses' hoofs, right? And you take the peppermint, and whenever there's a big craving for sweets, or you have a child or something crazy sweet, you give them something peppermint. They always take it. It cuts the craving for sweets, okay? So miracle berry, peppermint oil, Gymna are 3 ones that help sweet craving. And the biggest one was blackstrap molasses. I've seen unbelievable cases because it's so sweet and so bitter. And my mother is an example. And so I put her on blackstrap molasses about 5 years ago. And she just did it for a while. She felt great and good, but it literally killed her craving for sweets. We could not believe it. And she used to make fudge, and we loved her fudge. I get no more fudge now. I said, you gave it to her. And she said, I'll make this wonderful fudge, and it has to have some sweet every night. Never since. Been several years. No even desire. Doesn't even think about it, she says. And she would go out of her way to do it. Okay? Yeah, you mix it with juice or water. We're talking about molasses now. Yeah. Treacle, you say, right? Okay, let's see what else here. This says, and they have this gymnic acid, and they know why it works, and there's been all kinds of research. In Ayurveda, they've used it for several thousand years for diabetes. So it's a very good one. It's called the cow plant, Australian cow plant. And I don't think it grows in the United States or Europe, okay? But you can buy this tea here, and they can drink that green tea. So it's a good green tea for diabetics. So you got some chia seeds and some green tea, you got Jerusalem artichokes, you got all this stuff that you get as cinnamon. Include these things in your diet, okay? So this is the biggest one of all. So I'll spend a few slides on this, and then we go to the next tonic, okay? So people know bitter melon, bitter gourd. People from India know it. Unbelievable remedy. And I gave a talk a few weeks ago to the doctors, and one of the doctors was a military doc. He started telling me stories about it, about this remedy in the field, okay? So you can buy it in any Asian store, okay? According to the scientific community, the findings, the answer is yes. Regularly ingesting bitter melon aids in controlling diabetes. We've given it to patients, and it works. You ready for this? It works as well as their insulin. And some, it works so well that they had to stop taking it, okay? So a dose is important, and how you cook it and eat it. I think I have a video of someone eating it raw. So it's supposed to be the most bitter, the most bitter vegetable on earth. And it's an amazing, amazing product. And you can buy tinctures of it. You can buy it raw. You can buy it dried. And a big one, I'm a big fan of it, pickled. You know, you got pickle juice and you got bitter melon pickles. Okay. I have some of the research coming up here. Okay. So these are some of the chemicals they're talking about. First, in general, this is how it grows. And the seeds are very important in all this. And it's in the pumpkin family, along with cucumbers, watermelon, and squash. And don't forget, one of the most potent tonics I researched was watermelon seed oil. I said, wow. And they take the watermelon seed, which we all throw away. Native Americans would always cook and eat the watermelon seeds and pumpkin seeds, unbelievable tonics. But watermelon seed oil is also potent in this group. So it's also called bitter gourd, okay? Chlorella. All right, and the bitter squash. And it is bitter, okay? And you'll find out why in a minute. It's also they call it alligator skin because it looked like an alligator. It's the most bitter of all edible vegetables. High concentration of quinine, malaria, parasites, China officinalis, homeopathic remedy, quinine sulfate for Meniere's disease, for ringing of the ears, all our stuff we know about in homeopathy for quinine. This is a tonic that has quinine in it, okay? What's that water they drink in the bars? Tonic water? Isn't that quinine water? Yeah. That's right there, a shot of it. Why do they even have it in a bar? Hangovers, headaches? It must be electrolytes or something, okay? So they knew in South America that would cure fevers and all this stuff. And that's where China bark, quinine bark is from, Peru.
They also did a tonic get very dry, but it was
Yeah, that helped him. Yeah. Oh, they didn't get malaria because he was too drunk. No. Or was it the quinine? So therapy, gin and tonic, 3 times a day. So it's a valuable remedy for treating malaria. So in Africa, you can get the people to grow this stuff. And then the moringa is another unbelievable plant. The leaves in villages in Ghana, every house have to have a moringa. So once you marry someone and you get a house, you plant a moringa tree. And you can live off the leaves. Corella, you can live off the corella seaweed. You can live off moringa. They're so nutrient dense that you can live off them. Corella, they're going to put it in the spaceships. They have it all planned to go to Mars because you can make this thing of Corella, put the Corella in there, and you can eat all you want, and you can never exhaust it because it keeps reproducing. So it's free food forever. Just having a tank full of Corella seaweed, and you eat, and you just pull out what you want and eat it, and it produces more food. No soil, no nothing, just water. Okay. So bitter melon. So it's called Mormordica charan, and this is one of the chemicals that they're looking for. So this is a drug company saying that, they found this new chemical. Oh, we're looking in the old books for new drugs. Instead of just using it as the old book says, you're done. $90 million to get a new drug to the market, $100 million, and just use it as it is. You can just take a bite of it. You get the same effects, okay? The need to find out what's in there is only in how can we make money off of this. It's not a scientific search. It's a search for gold, okay? It's a big difference in research, okay? So this is some of the things that it talks about blood sugar, in that it eases childbirth, helps constipation, and also what's not here, it's a major super electrolyte, okay? And when you you get dehydrated and all that, you lose your electrolytes, that's a life or death situation. Cholera, fever, sweating, pickle juice, and all these things are really simple electrolyte. Very good for hangovers. Pickle juice and bitter melon, or pickled bitter melon, okay? They've used it for hemorrhoids and digestion. It also enhances the sex drive and liver disorders and all kinds of that. And also parasites. And the medical doctor I talked to, he used it for parasites in the military. He'd have them drink it. And you can buy the juice, and then you can just dilute the juice down, or you buy it raw. And you can cut it up and stir fry it. You can do anything you want. It won't affect the quinine content of it. Just adding vinegar and regular pickle recipe. Yep. You just put it in vinegar. Vinegar and salt. Yes. I avoid the white vinegars. That's all. Most of the rest, rice vinegar is not so much. I could do a whole weekend just on vinegar or honey. There's 50 types of bowls. And put it in there, you're done. But usually when you pickle stuff, you want to add some salt. Yeah. And the dill and all that stuff, also powerful herbs. Those are just recipes for pickles. So it's vinegar and salt. Himalayan salt and apple cider vinegar, and throw your bitter melon in there. And let it soak for a few days or that. And then you either strain it out, whether you crush it up or not, or then you take shots, 1 ounce or whatever, and dilute it, take a shot of it. Very potent stuff. We have some in our refrigerator. Of course, we had to try all this stuff. And it's still there. And we took a couple of doses. It's still there. I brought it 3 or 4 times. And every time I open the refrigerator, it went rotten again. Oh, too bad we can't take it. But you get used to it. I haven't learned the Indian cooking and how to do that yet. But I put some recipes in the book. Okay. Oh, I think it's coming up. Yeah, I think it's coming up. You soak it overnight. I think what you do, you boil it 2 or 3 times. Same thing you do with bamboo shoots. You can't eat bamboo shoots straight. Okay, you have to do this rinsing, throw the water out, rinsing 3 or 4 times. And that's how, if you want to get the bitterness out, that helps. No, you don't have to. I have video of people eating it raw. The guy in India, yeah, bite it right off. No problem. I'm taking a little piece like this. Wow. This thing, mix that with some wasabi, and you can light anybody's fire. You got a sinus problem? Here, take this. So it keeps insulin. Right. Add some cayenne. That's Egyptian medicine. They put cayenne, horseradish, and all that and just give it. And they want this dramatic reaction. So this is the chemical charotin and insulin-like peptides, and that's what the whole drug company is just spending millions of dollars to develop and all that. But taking the whole thing, you get the quinine, the benefits. They're losing all the historical benefits by taking just the one chemical out. Okay, and it helps with glucose uptake, especially in the muscles and tissues and the liver. And it also helps many studies on diabetes. I would say it's the #1 tonic. Aloe Vera and them are up there, but this stands alone for diabetes. Yep. Together, these compounds are thought to be responsible for reduction of blood sugar levels in type 2 diabetes. And it also, this is really important, it's been found to increase the number of insulin-secreting beta cells in the pancreas. So that means it actually is not just dealing with the blood sugar and uptake of glucose and all this. It's actually healing the pancreas. So anybody you think with a pancreas problem, pancreas cancer, anything. So Steve Jobs died of pancreatic cancer. This would have been one of the big tonics I'd have put him on. Okay.
Wouldn't it interfere with diabetes?
Yes. The question, would it interfere with diabetic medication? Hopefully, yes. We're only giving it to get them off their medication. Yes. You have to sit there and you take it real slow and easy. And just like we talked about last time with the thyroid, for a while they'd be on both. And as you see the insulin, and they know, the diabetic knows better than the doctor. They monitor their own, and as they see it's going lower and they're increasing this and that, and pretty soon they're just on bitter melon. Okay. And then you get on bitter melon for a few months or a week, you could be on your home free. And then you wean yourself off the bitter melon. And then in the meantime, they're improving their diet and you're giving homeopathic remedies for their general health. Okay. So you can have a real program. I say a program, not just a pill. Healing is a process. It's not a shock treatment. Unless someone had shock, we can shock them back. But it's a process. They got sick as a process, or they were shocked into a disease. They were shocked, we give them a first aid remedy to bring them back. But most diseases, chronic modern diseases, are chronic deterioration of their health. Okay, here's a South, and it's funny that how India, China, and South America all found the same uses for the same plant. Okay, and that plant is that diverse. They drink 1 or 2 fresh bitter melon fruits and drink a day, or the seed of fruit extracts, or you can buy the powdered leaf, which I haven't seen in stores. Scientists in the U.S. claim a new study shows that bitter melon juice has a strong affinity for pancreatic cancer, okay, with no side effects. So they're just starting to see the potential use for this. And pancreatic cancer is one of the hardest cancers to treat. Lung cancer, pancreatic cancer, one of the hard ones. And the fact that Steve Jobs on alternative medicine lived 9 years with pancreatic cancer is unheard of, because it's so, that and lung cancer can last a short time. And here's how you wash it and clean it. And that just salt. I do my research. Okay. So wash bitter melons thoroughly in the running water, because dirt and stuff can get caught in these little crevices. Okay. On the skin here. Fresh pods as well as young leaves can be used. Bitterness can be reduced by marinating in salted spice mixture, and then dried in the sunlight. There's all kinds of local traditions. You can also boil it in salt water 5 or 10 minutes, then discard the water, or you can marinate it in yogurt for 30 minutes to get rid of the bitterness. Okay. So when you marinate it in yogurt for 30 minutes, you haven't lost anything. The other things you're pulling out, minerals and other stuff. So it's good. That's why in Indian restaurants you have this raita, right? The raita is just for the hot curries and all this stuff to make it digestible and soothe. And that's the cucumber in there. Cool as a cucumber. I put the research in there. The cucumber actually lowers the body temperature. And it's great for dehydration and the heat, overheat exposure, cucumber juice. So all these old folklores, there's something to it, okay? So you got salt, boiling over, and all these things to reduce the bitterness, okay? Hangover and detoxifying. Now you have a diabetic that's toxic, okay? Not so much from alcohol, but just toxic in general, bad diet, coffee, whatever. You also think of this. And that might be a nux vomica patient and bitter melon. They would just love each other, those two. Okay, because both are for hangovers, toxicity, indigestion, and things. Okay, beneficial for alcohol intoxications. So it helps sober people up, and so does pickle juice. So one of my nephew came and visited, and I was telling him about pickle juice. He said, "Oh, we know about pickle juice." And there's some bar game. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. There's a bar game where you do gin and tonic and a shot of pickle juice, and they play this game with it because this is so strong and pungent. And then you do this and that. But I said, "You know why they do it?" And he didn't know why. I said the pickle juice helps prevent the hangovers and things. Okay. So it also helps liver. So people would have a diabetic that has a liver alcohol problem. Okay. Sip 2 teaspoonsful of the juice daily to cleanse the liver. Also help jaundice. Okay. I would dilute 2 teaspoons instead of sip it. Some other problems and things with bitter melon: stimulates the sluggish digestive and treats dyspepsia. It's a digestive aid, helps all kinds of gas, bloating, so it'll go well with lycopodium for a diabetic case. Contains a lot of fiber, good for constipation, all these and that. And some people can be aggravated if they have acid reflux and they take it because you get some things, so you watch it. Someone with heartburn, if they dilute it, it'll probably be a cure for heartburn, but taking it straight might aggravate it. I haven't confirmed that, okay? Any questions about bitter melon? We're through with diabetes. We're going to do one tonic before lunch. And I have a half hour, so we may not finish because it's one of my favorite tonics of all time. I'm actually doing research on it and that. And here's some of the other spices. So I'm a big fan of spices. And I tell you, your kitchen is full of medicines. And under your sink, the baking soda and all this stuff is full of medicines. But cayenne, cinnamon, cloves, so potent. There's no plant on earth that has higher antioxidants than cloves, but you can only take a drop. It's so potent, okay? Not just for toothaches and all this stuff. And tarragon and turmeric, and now they're selling all the curcumin and making millions of dollars, and all people do is take the turmeric or turmeric, however you want to talk about. Papali, very big in India. It's called long pepper, 4 or 5 times more potent than black pepper. Papali, very good. Oregano oil, all kinds of things. Okay. So let's see what's next. Crazy about saffron. Unbelievable stuff. And you know the number one fact about it is what? Most expensive spice on the planet. And we talked about frankincense last time, more valuable than gold. And why did the ancients pick these things? Frankincense, myrrh, and saffron, those 3 alone. From India, China, Persia, the Middle East, Arabia, everywhere. Big medicines. More precious than gold. And today, I don't know the prices. I think we have the prices up here. They're talking 5,000 pounds for a pound or something like that. It's unbelievable. Okay. So I'm making tinctures, I'm making oils, I'm putting in some oils. You can rub this oil on someone's feet and cure them of all kinds of stuff, just like the frankincense. Okay. And the tincture, unbelievable stuff. Okay. So saffron. I hope you know it's a homeopathic remedy. And here's my point again and again, that homeopaths, if you only rely on provings and you ignore all the history, you will see new homeopathic uses for our homeopathic remedies based on thousands of years of experience. Okay, so this is out of my Materia Medica right here, and you see all this stuff. So they put saffron or crocus sativa in a category with hyoscyamus, stramonium, these, really deep, horrible diseases, schizophrenia, bipolar, homeopathic saffron, okay? So just the energy of it cures some of the worst diseases known in that. And then as a tonic, as a spice, and you have a thing, especially people in Iran, they know this. 96% of the market they produce. Now Italy's and some other countries, Spain, Greece are now growing it like crazy. And that, so you can have all this, a whole bowl of soup. And how much saffron do you need to put in it? A pinch. That's potent stuff. So my body oils is going to have actually the actual strands of the real saffron in it. And it might only take one strand. And vanilla is another one. Unbelievable. You read vanilla for morning sickness, nausea, depression, all this stuff. And you can take the vanilla bean and you can just stick it in an oil or alcohol. And that's how they make a vanilla extract. You can buy the bean, stick it in alcohol. You made your own instant vanilla extract. And the same with this. It is so potent, you only need a pinch. Okay? So a whole sprig, I call them sprigs or stamens, and we'll get into that. Okay? But let's look at some of the stuff here. Some of the keynotes, I always teach it's a big uterine remedy. Okay, and this is where the word hysteria comes from, because the ancient physicians said there's a uterine problem. Actually, they were referring to the ovaries, a hormonal imbalance that causes mood changes, not so much the uterus. But the word hysterectomy and hysteria is the same word. Okay, so the big keynote is black stringy blood. What produces black stringy blood? Endometriosis, bleeding fibroids, cancers, and all this stuff. Heavy duty remedy. Okay, and what's beautiful about this is none of this stuff is in the ancient literature, and none of the ancient literature stuff is in the homeopathic literature. So when we combine them all, we say we know saffron. Okay, so another one here, sensation as if something live. Thuya has it, Veratrum album has it, Crocus has it, Semisafuga? Okay, Semisafuga has it also. And that's rumbling and stuff in the thing. I have amazing cases of one woman that came to the clinic, and she went to every clinic in Portland, Oregon, the hospital, and she swore she was pregnant. And no one would eat, and they did the test, and because she was homeless and schizophrenic or whatever. So I took her in, and I just assumed, I pretended, went along with that she was pregnant, because she has the baby just kicked. She's like 60 years old and homeless and was living under a bridge in Portland. So we had our clinic right across the street from that. I took her in, Hahnemann says you just join their insanity or their delusion. And she says, you're the first one that listened to me. Okay. And I gave her Veratrum album, but we never heard back from her. But you'll see actual cases like that. Okay. Rapidly changing symptoms, mental, emotional, all kinds of schizophrenic type of thing, movement of the body, very heavy stuff. Okay. Hemorrhage, constipation, all kinds of uterine problems and wounds. And that's pretty much our homeopathic understanding of this remedy. Then we look at the ancients and what they did with it. And they complement each other so well. And here's cases by Clark, just a quick mention. Clark once cured a young artist who had become subject to violent outbursts of anger, which we would think anacardium, staphysagrus, stuff like that. He would take up a knife and throw it at his mother, with whom he lived, and almost immediately after would be repentant, just like anacardium. Anytime you hear that, now we got two remedies that will cover that. Outbursts of anger and then real apologetic. Okay, tuberculinum also has that. They get very vicious or mean, and then they're real apologetic. Okay, anacardiums, if they're religious, they do penances, and they have to hurt themselves or mutilate themselves. Okay, so very deep remedy. Okay, the household was about to be broke up. The trouble was completely cured by giving crocus sativas. On one occasion, another patient in a hospital and desperately ill with heart failure, valvular disease, but hysterical fits of laughter and mood changes. And that's all Clark needed was to prescribe that remedy. So it's like a hyoscyamus or stramonium with heart and uterine problems, okay, versus just simple brain problems. So this is a long medicinal history. It's in the Bible, it's in the Quran. I pay attention to that stuff. I assume these people were wise and they had wisdom from generations. If they consider this the most spiritual, powerful remedy on earth, like frankincense, I'm listening. Then I do the research. What's the homeopathy say about it? What the herbalists say about it? What the cooking says about it? And all this stuff, okay? And it's been shown recently, and now my cursor's not over here. So it's been shown recently to be anti-cancer, okay? And it's an antioxidant and stuff like that. It helps retinitis pigmentosa and macular degeneration. So it helps the eyes. So when I teach the planets, if you learn these 7 planets, which are the 7 days of the week and the 7 chakras, this is a sun herb, a sun tonic, and the sun affects the heart. We find most herbs that affect the heart affects the eyes. Okay? The eyes take in sunlight, so they're ruled by the sun. Okay, so this is a sun herb, good for the heart, helps protect the eyes, and macular degeneration is just an aging type of thing. Okay, so most saffron-related research refers to stigmas, and this is and all this stuff. So we get into it. So other side effects of Prozac, suicidal depression, okay, and all kinds of allergy problems and OCD problems. That 20% was talking about impotency. So you prescribe Prozac to someone, a fifth of them will become impotent. A lot of high blood pressure medications are the #1 cause of male impotency. Blood pressure medication and antidepressants. So if they're depressed about sexual problems and you give them Prozac, you're not fixing the problem. And the side effect of saffron is what? Aphrodisiac. So it's the absolute opposite side effect. It enhances sexual performance and sex drive, and the other one takes it away, but it matched on everything. Within a week, they can't believe how much they feel with their depression. And if you looked at the top, it says a hydroalcoholic extract of saffron. Translate, tincture. Tincture of saffron. And they also gave powdered saffron, and you can put it in a capsule and take the capsule. So the tincture and the powder both work for depression. And it's up there with Aurum, another sun remedy. Gold, sunlight, heart, broken heart, grief, depression. So Aurum and saffron together or by themselves. Okay, very good for severe depression. And how much you have to take and all that, we're talking small amounts. But the reason I'm making the oil now, I haven't seen it in the stores. Anyone ever seen a saffron tincture? Tablets. Yep. And just, I have such fun doing this stuff. We'll get to a video about it. But most of the products out there are fake saffron. It looks exactly like it. The safflower, where we get safflower oil, the stamens and stigmas are exactly identical saffron. And I have a little video that you can show anybody anywhere and you can tell if it's fake or true. Okay. And most of it's, and they either cut it 10%. You're talking $5,000 per pound of this, they cut it 10%. Okay. And that with the adulterated or fake. Okay. Very potent stuff. When Buddha died, the monks did all the robes in saffron in honor of Buddha. Okay. So the saffron is a big spiritual color and all this stuff. Okay. So it's also called Kazar Kumapu. Okay. It's a spice derived from the crocus sativa plant. It's a member of the iris and lily family. Iris versicolor and other homeopathic remedies, blue water lily, which is the blue lotus, all that. But it has these stigmas, these red stigmas, okay? And the saffron plant are carefully picked behind its golden stamen, accounts for approximately 90% of the world's, 90% of the world's production. One flower each flower has 3, only 3. And I feel guilty when you get the numbers, how many flowers it takes. And it has to be hand-picked, Yes. Yeah, no problem. Let me repeat the question because for the video. A patient with pregnancy and postpartum depression.
Yeah.
Okay. And you gave what remedy? Okay, as long as you did stevia first. Okay, so I could definitely would add this. She could even just add the spice to her food. Yeah, it's a food. It's a spice, a food. And that's what colors the rice, especially the Persian dishes. You got rose petals and saffron in your rice dishes and stuff, and the fragrance and things. Okay, so here's some of the statistics about it. Okay, they want it for its flavor and rarity, but in the ancient times, it's for its medicinal use, just like frankincense. Okay, it only kept on because of its culinary uses. Okay, it takes 150,000 flowers to produce a kilo. Okay, so how many would that fill this to the ceiling? This up to the ceiling at least. Okay, and only 3 of these in each one. 1, 2, 3 in every one. Okay, it could end up four to five. I think it's $5,000 a pound in the U.S. And you have to find the right company and the right people, and you get to test it yourself. And there's 3 ways to prove if it's fake saffron or not. And I tell you, I started doing this. My wife and I, we went and she said, "Oh, I have some of that." And I said, "Well, I got some too, and my stuff." And she had her stuff. So we go through our stuff. She pulls out a bag this big, says saffron tea. And a bag this big. And we're just like, we can't believe it. We got like 8 ounces of saffron. You know how much this is worth? Then we read the little thing, American saffron. So it's legal to call saffron tea, and it's made from the safflower. And it had nothing to do with saffron. Nothing to do with it. And then I said, I got the real stuff. So I pulled out my little thing. It was like a 1/4 ounce from an old box full of herbs and stuff. And it was the same one. Both of them were fake. Both of them were fake. But at least mine said it. No, hers said it. Mine didn't. Hers said on there, small letters, American saffron. Okay. So only small amounts are needed for its health benefits. That's like cayenne, a drop, some powerful effects, unpotentized too. Now, I want to say one thing. Now, I believe, I haven't looked into the pharmacopoeia yet, I believe the homeopaths, because they didn't do this, they potentized the whole plant. We want the stigmas potentized. That's the medicinal part. So when they potentized the whole plant, we got all these other uses for it. But all the ancients only used the stigmas. Only. Okay, and I think that's a big difference there. So here's adulterated and fake ones we talk about. There are many adulterated and fake products being dyed to imitate or using a different plant. Yeah. To find out whether it's pure saffron or not, immerse a bit of it in water. It doesn't have to be warm water. It could even be cold water. Okay. That's all you do is you take it. If you're in an herb shop and you take it and you have a little bit of water, or you tell the person, give me a little cup of water, and you drop it in the water. If that water turns yellow or gold or like it's supposed to, it's fake. Fake. Yeah, she knows. So if you put it in there and it doesn't change, in 5 or 10 minutes, it bursts out. That's real saffron. Okay. I think I have a video coming up in that. See, it takes 10 to 15 minutes for it to be released. Cold water, too. I hope I put the video in. Let's see if we have a video. Nope, I guess I didn't put it in there. I'll show it after lunch. I got someone in the markets in India testing it. There's 3 ways to test it. The second way, if you have fake saffron, okay, and real saffron there, and you pour water on both of them, okay? So this one will color easier, but the stigmas stay flat. The real saffron, the stigma will take up the water and lift, okay? The third way you test the saffron, if you have both of these piles in water, you just take your thumb, and if you start hitting your fingers down on the fake saffron, it will break apart. It will break apart into powder. Okay, if you take it and hit the other one, the stigmas, they won't break apart. So 3 ways to test it. But the quickest way is just drop in some water while the guy's telling you how good his saffron is. You're sitting there, and you just show them the water. And they know that, okay, you're American. You're not supposed to know this. Yes.
they had these guys that trying to sell this stuff.
Marcus's favorite place.
And so I know this, we can dye this beautiful silk scarf with saffron. So put this scarf in the saffron, all to make it turned orange, and we go, wow, God, it must be the little stuff. And obviously, you don't need it off.
When you go back, you'll be better prepared. So they put it in water and it turned instantly. Yeah, it's all fake. Yes.
That's very easy. You can make up on some dyed saffron.
Yes.
If it's dry, can you still do that?
Yeah. Oh, no, I haven't done that test myself. But yeah, these were fresh sprigs and they just did it. But you got two other ways to test. It takes up the water and then you actually see them in the video rising up, the stigmas, and the other one's just flat. Okay? I think that's why they have 3 tests, because they can be clever and they can put some oil on the fake one. And if you put that in the water, then that oil prevent it from coloring real soon too. But then they can't get by the next test of the breakup or the absorption. Okay? No, the ones we put on water. Yeah, I'll show the video after lunch. You'll see it. It's amazing. And he has them both at there, and he does all 3 tests on both piles and that. Okay?
I'm saying that test of the water doesn't apply to dried stuff.
I don't know. It should. Yeah, it should. Yeah. I think it's all dried. Yeah. Unless you go pick it fresh. But when you have, what I'm referring to is the whole stigma. Some sell the whole thing. That's why I'm going to put in the oil and stuff and use it. I believe you can rub this oil on people's feet and cure depression. That's what I believe. That's what my intuition is saying. And the tincture, 4 or 5 drops of this tincture. And I just have to figure out how much to put in to make it potent. Yes. So let's see what else we got here. And also the source of saffron and all this stuff. So when it's a good price, that's usually a hint too that it's not the real stuff. Okay. So this is stuff out of the repertory, the herbal repertory, and good for arthritis. Since used it for balding, for hair growth. A big one, of course, is the depression, which has been confirmed. All kinds of eye problems. The eye problem should be also black type. I'd increase that one. And they use it for acute fevers, just like frankincense. It was a universal remedy that everyone wanted in their house. They had these little like peel boxes with a bunch of saffron, and they had some for cooking. So little you need to cook, a pinch. Okay, so that counteracts its expense in that. Okay? Also good for, as in homeopathy, all kinds of menstrual problems. PMS, the original study was on PMS. Okay, and that led to the other depression. So in homeopathy, it's a hormonal balancing remedy. Also good for insomnia, okay, shock, and some other things. They've used it for whooping cough and things like that. And there's other videos, but they're so commercial, I didn't want to show them. Saffron is the newest, biggest thing for weight loss. Side effect. More energy, better sex drive, weight loss, no more depression, balances out your hormones. So that's all these commercials. They started giving it for people with depression. They start losing weight. Now people say, oh, they're depressed, they're more active, whatever. Now they're just giving it right for weight loss. Okay, so that could be brought up. The hottest new product in the United States is saffron for weight loss. I don't know, but yes, that sounds good. Okay, see what else we got here. It's the most costliest spice in the world. Okay, what was second? No. Spice. Nope. Vanilla. Vanilla bean. I don't know how much one of the beans costs. Anybody know? But you buy that black thing, 5 or 10 pounds for one little straggly little bean. And you just put that in alcohol. You've made a whole jar of vanilla extract, or you go to the store and buy it. Okay. So they use the stigma, and Egyptians, Romans, Greeks, Arabians, the Hindus, everybody used this as one of the most prized medicines and for cooking. and the fragrance and what it does to a dish, and just a pinch in rice dishes especially. Here's some of the fields. Every one. So Iranian woman has to bend over and pick out 1, 2, 3. And it would take 150,000 for her to get 1 little pound. So these are all the women. This is from a video. All women, they go there and pick. They pick. All bent over. No, not that I know of. I have another video showing how they produce it. It's only one part of Iran that produces it, northwestern part, I think it is. It's a big province there, 96% of the world. But Spain and Italy and them are starting to take off. Spain, Italy especially, they have saffron festivals now and tastings and things. Okay, see what else we got here. And there's the flowers. So they actually pick I corrected. They actually pick all the flowers and they go back home and pick out the things one by one. So I have to correct myself on that. Okay, so it was used, again, like in homeopathy, for painful periods, severe menstrual cramps. They would massage it in babies' gums for teething and toothaches. It's antiseptic. It helps mother's milk and all this stuff. Just a little pinch in milk in India, and they have the baby drink it. So you can put a pinch in almond milk as a therapy and turn the whole milk yellow. Turmeric is like that too. Powerful stuff. Okay. And the eyes, the eye things, improves eyes and vision health in general. So again, it works on that. A cup of saffron tea has potential to slow down blindness. Research established saffron's ability to protect the vision. Okay. And during the one study, the eye charts showed remarkable progress with patients. So a daily, 1 cup a day protects the eyes from photophobia. So this is for aging. Macular degeneration, osteoporosis, they're not really diseases. They're deterioration due to aging. So you have an elderly person or your eyes are getting weaker, and it's 1 cup a day. Mix it with some eye bright, euphrasia, or whatever else you want. And also good for the eyes are the berries. Any berry is very good for the eyes. They all contain lutein in that. So very good. Goji berries. Goji berries are good for the heart and the eyes. Again, the sun remedies. And so they picked all that and they get this full of the stigmas. So that each one of those is worth hundreds of dollars, hundreds of pounds each platter. So it also affects brain chemistry. Okay. Like the ones we talked about, bacopa, macuna we talked about last time, cacao, raw chocolate affects all these brain chemicals. So saffron is up with that group. It affects serotonin production, and it has a good for insomnia because serotonin can keep you awake too much, too little, and all this schizophrenia, all that stuff is serotonin imbalances. Okay. So it helps to restore the appetite. Regulating by it helps migraines, depression, and chronic fatigue. It's just finding it on the market. So some traditional uses, you can make a broth with it to stimulate digestion. I don't know how much a gram would cost, but it sounds like expensive. Hot drinks for coughs and colds and flus. Okay, 1/2 gram in a liter of water, and you drink the water. You can do massages. That's why I'm going to make a body oil. I believe that oil would actually go in and affect the person psychologically also. Okay, you can take the powdered saffron and mix it with a carrier oil, grapeseed oil, castor oil, almond oil, and then massage it in. Okay, and you want to massage it in. So you keep rubbing that till you feel no oil. We want the oil to go into the person. Okay. They also have pills, probably the only thing on the market now, and some teas. And our 2 samples we have in our house were both fake saffron teas. Okay. So they're going to have, both were fake. I said, I got saffron. She said, I got saffron too. We were both had wrong ones. Okay. Heart disease. Again, so a big one for the heart, which is all depression is often related to the heart. That's why we have the saying broken heart. Okay. If someone had a broken heart, they'd be dead. So they're talking about our emotional heart. Okay. So once we see our energy body as a duplicate of our physical body, then a whole new ball game happens. And that's the way the yogis look at the body. is that we have a duplicate body. You can call it the prana body, etheric body. And that's what holds the impressions and shocks. And as the vital force circulates through that, that's why we get depressed periodically or imbalances. There's a memory. Every part of your body has remembered everything. So it's not the brain that remembers. The whole cellular tissue remembers everything. Okay? You can walk up and meet someone that you haven't seen in years and your knee will start hurting. And you say, what's going on? Stuff I've seen. So, oh yeah, I haven't seen them in 2 or 3 years. Last time I saw them, I had a bad knee. And this is weird stuff. I just had one of my patients, students, she woke up, she had this unbelievable dream of her dead mother. And she woke up and all in a panic, screaming. And her mother's been dead for 15, 20 years. She's in her 30s, 40s now. And she had this unbelievable dream. So she called her stepfather, who was married to her mother when she died, and said, I just had this unbelievable dream. And he said, this is the day she died on March 11th. She died on that day she had the dream. Okay. 15 years, no dream. But on that, and he couldn't believe it. He said, you had a dream of her on the night that she died. So the body remembers. You have people that every February 10th, they get depressed. And you trace the story back to something happened on February 10th and that. So it's understanding all this internal stuff. So it lowers blood pressure, stimulates breathing, and all these things. Okay? So another big one is insomnia. A pinch of saffron. I was going to put almond milk. I recommend almond milk. I go with the yogis. They prefer almond milk over cow's milk. So it goes almonds milk, goat's milk, cow's milk. Goat's milk's better than cow's milk, and almond milk is better. And almond milk is good for what? The heart and the eyes, because it looks like an eye. And the yogis would prescribe 7 almonds in the morning as a prescription to strengthen the heart and strengthen the eyes. Sunflower seeds also, sun remedy. And the little sunflower seed looks like an eye. Comes right there. And you can eat the sunflower seeds. Good for the eyes. Okay? It's depression plus insomnia. Think of saffron. You ever see the Buddhist robes? It goes yellow, gold, orange.
I thought it was not meant to.
Now, here's the problem. Yes, this is the trick. Now, you see the video after lunch. Both of the colors are the same. So the fake saffron and the real saffron both put out the orangey, yellow, golden color. So you can't go by the color. You have to go by the properties of it. Okay? Okay, I think that's it.